Hey everybody, Dan Franzak here, president and co-founder of Healthy Roster, joined alongside longtime friend now. I guess we've been doing this a while. Chad Henneberry from Candid Athletic Training. What's going on, my friend?
Hey Dan, how are you? Just happy to hang out.
Happy to hang out. Me too. This is awesome. Usually on your show, so this is kind of like a role reversal for us because I'm going to kind of go back to my old TV days and I'm going to interview you. And
it's just what I was thinking. You're the professional here.
Well, I don't know how professional. I think I lost everything. You know, it's just kind of old cobwebs. I got to break out the old sports anchor jacket here, I guess. So
need a microphone with a big. I don't know what's the thing on the in the middle of the microphone. What's that called? Is it just like a logo thing? Like, is it have a name?
Oh yeah. What did they call that? They called that the flag. They called that the flag, the mic flag.
That's what you need.
Yeah. They still use those, like in Monday Night Football or, you know, whenever they're doing that, they still got the mic flag on there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Throwback to Howard Cosell.
Oh, man. I used to be able to do a Howard Cosell impression. Should I try?
Oh, I'd like to hear it.
All right, let me try. Hello, everyone. This is Howard Cosell, joined alongside the great Chad Henneberry. We've got a great broadcast for you today, and look at Chad go.
That's great.
It's old. I haven't done that in a long time.
He is a little bit. He predates me just a little bit. Like I don't remember him. I remember Summerall and Madden. That was kind of the first I remember. So Cosell was just a little bit, but that's great.
Maybe break it out. That's fun. So I'm really curious, and I wanted to have my kind of people on our social and understand who you guys were, because I think it's so amazing what you guys have done. You've created your own thing and it's wildly popular and I love it. I just like watching it every once in a while and listening to it whenever I can. But maybe tell the folks a little bit who haven't heard about it. Tell them what Candid Athletic Training is. It's a podcast. So I'll start with that, but you guys fill in the rest and tell everybody what it's about.
Yeah, again, so I'm just a guy from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with a buddy, Kevin. And the two of us kind of worked baseball together. He was actually a student of mine, ended up going into the professional sports setting. I continued on at the college baseball in college setting, and we would just stay in touch, and we would just pick each other's brain, like, hey, what do you do for this? What do you do for that? And we would kind of always, but what's the latest? And right around that time, social media started kind of growing, and we would see these accounts with like different exercises and rehab programming. And we would just be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Is this like a real thing or is this kind of a farce? And so we would always kind of like just shoot the breeze, and we kind of realized like a lot of the time we weren't working, we were still talking about work just candidly, frankly, and just what our thoughts were on certain things. And we developed just a relationship doing that. And then Kevin decided to get out of the pro ball life, and he kind of moved back here. And we had always talked about like, what should we do something like this? We saw these other social media accounts and like, we could do something like that, right? And when he got done with pro ball and he moved back here, it kind of freed up his time, and we're just like, let's try this. And we didn't really know we were going to do a pod. We knew we wanted to do something, and then I started to listen to some other podcasts, mostly about like fantasy football and stuff like that. And I was like, I think there's something here, the podcast form. And we just bought some microphones 4.5 years ago, I guess it was. And then it just kind of, we just have been doing it ever since. I don't know. It's just two guys who like to kind of talk about athletic training and what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like, how we could better ourselves, and then it just became fun.
Well, the candid part's the best, like, I guess, wording title for it, because you guys really you kind of just lay it out there. Like, you guys are just two guys talking about, you know, what athletic trainers go through. And a lot of the times it's just fun, and you're just talking about your lives and just anything that kind of comes top of mind. That's why I was drawn to it, because it wasn't about like, oh, you know, what should athletic trainers do in this situation and this. It was just, you guys were having fun. You were like trying, and it appealed to the athletic trainers when they needed a release. That's why I like it.
Thanks.
I don't know if that was the intention.
Yeah, that's exactly the intention. So I think when we sat down, we're like, we had one goal, and the goal was to not sound like we were sitting in a class lecture. That was it. All the athletic trainers have gone through enough school, and while we still want to stay current and learn new things, we didn't want the feeling of being in a boring lecture. So we wanted to do something a little bit different. That's how we kind of developed our own little style. We do these little segments. We try and make it fun. We try to incorporate current events, pop culture, all those kind of things, and then relate it back to athletic training. And so, that was just the one goal, was to not make it seem like you're sitting in a class lecture. I think, all the feedback we get's not 100% positive. It's never going to be. You're always going to have detractors or people who don't care for what you're doing, and that's fine. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. But the one thing we kind of hear more than anything that I'm most proud of is the one word that always comes up is relatable. We try to talk about little small things that everybody goes through and how we feel about it. And hopefully when you're listening to the show, you're going to be like, oh yeah, I never really thought about it like that. Or, oh, that's exactly what I thought. But you can relate to it. So that's usually when we get the reviews that say they were in my head, or that's just what I was thinking. How did they know? And that's why we do it, because of comments like that.
That's awesome. Talking to Chad Henneberry. He's the co-host of Candid Athletic Training Podcast. You can also see it on YouTube. Is that accurate as well?
Yeah, well, because of our relationship with Healthy Roster, you guys have supported us, and one of the things that we were able to do because of you guys is we got some new equipment, and we did want to start live streaming. We thought it might be bring a new element to our show. We record Wednesday nights at 8:30 Central Time every Wednesday, other than tonight, because Kevin, my co-host, might be having a baby literally right now. They might actually be in the delivery room right now. Otherwise, we would be recording our show.
That's no excuse. He should have joined us. He should have joined us anyway. We
sent an email saying we're not recording tonight, and one of our members said, "Well, why don't you just live stream from the delivery room? You can get some."
Right.
And we're like, I don't know how many people want to see that. But yeah, because of you guys, we were able to get some new equipment, and we tried it out. And the thought was, we want our show to be the most interactive podcast, the most interactive. We want to talk about what the listeners or the members want us to talk about. So we open it up for feedback, suggestions. If you go to our website, you can say, hey, can you talk about this topic? And we'd love to. And then we live stream, so you can join us at 8:30 Central on Wednesdays by hopping on our YouTube channel and join the show. And then we've got a bunch of people who are there every week, and they just comment along, and it gets to be fun, and a really fun group of people that kind of share a like interest and have fun with it. And that's the whole point. It's not always serious. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's more just a relaxing getaway from the everyday stressors that athletic trainers deal with. So that's relatable, and that's honestly because of you guys. So we wouldn't be able to do that without Healthy Roster. So we owe a lot of what we've become to you. Most of what we've done.
No, it's all you guys. It really is. I mean, seriously, it was fun when we were out there looking at the industry and trying to align ourselves with people who were in the space. It was like, these guys get it. They get it. They're like, athletic trainers go through a lot on a daily basis. They've got a lot on their plate. They need a release. They need to be relatable. They want something that's relatable, that either gives them a release or they can just kind of hang out and feel like they're hanging out with a friend. And that's why I liked you guys, because I felt like every time I listened to you, I was hanging out with my buddies, and it felt awesome. I'm curious, Chad, the growth, like, were you expecting it to grow as big as it did, as fast as it did?
No, that's actually really interesting. Is when we met you for the first time met Healthy Roster, I was in Las Vegas, the NATA convention in Las Vegas, which was literally 3 months after we started our first show. We recorded a couple of them. We put it up March 1st of 2019. And then in June, we went to the NAT convention, and we were walking around. One of the other guys that does a podcast, his name is Jeremy Jackson. He's we always say he's like the godfather of athletic training podcasts because he kind of had the first original show. He caught wind of us and he asked, "Hey, would you come on and I just interview you guys?" And we're like, "Sure, absolutely." And so we just said, "Hey, we're going to be doing this show in the exhibit hall at this time. Come check us out if you want." And we got there and we found a booth and there were like 25 people there, and we're like, "Oh, I wonder what's going on." And it turns out they were there to watch us, and we're like, "What?" These people have heard, like, we just didn't know anybody would come, and it was really kind of cool. I remember when we first started doing this, you can always check your numbers, how many downloads you have. It's like the first time we got 100 downloads a week, we're like, "Oh, this is pretty cool," and then 200 and whatever, and now we're in the thousands, and it's really fun. And I think the most rewarding part of it is we've got somebody from Alabama and New York and the West Coast and from all over listening to us, and people will send me text message of a picture, and they'll be watching. It'll be like, when you take the picture of your feet and what you're doing out in front of you. It's it's the obligatory selfie, but they'll be taking selfies of themselves watching us on the live stream and text it to me, and I'm like, "What are they doing? Why?" It's really kind of weird to think these people have set aside some time in their day to sit and watch Kevin and I talk about it. It's really fun. It's really super rewarding, and we could never be more grateful. So it's awesome.
Chad, I'm wondering what the craziest or funniest moment was so far in your what is it now, 4+ years here doing your podcast?
Oh, the funniest moment.
Or more memorable moment that you can think of? I don't know if it was a topic or guest or anything that kind of pops.
No, I honestly think it was the first NATA convention when people actually showed up to watch us, and we were like, "Oh my God, we might actually be able to, have a following." Yeah, we might be onto something. We're like, "Okay, this is pretty neat." And then there's been some show moments that have been really fun, like laugh out loud. I've had tears, and usually it's somewhat questionably dirty, something funny that I have a twisted sense of humor. I'll just say that. And I'll be honest, most of the show topics come from somewhere in here. I don't know where. It'll just randomly come to me. And I'm like, we're 240 episodes in. I was like, how many more things can we talk about? But every week I kind of randomly come up with something. And sometimes it just turns out, like when we have a show and all of a sudden I'll laugh out loud funny for a little bit. Those are that's what I remember the most. And the fact that I get to do it with my friend is really cool. He's just my friend. Like I said, we started this because we just wanted to chat, and I think that's really rewarding to do something. It's not forced. It's not always easy, because like I said, it's hard to come up with new topics and stuff like that. But sitting down and talking with my friend for an hour and having other people listen in and kind of weigh in is really fun. That's what it's supposed to be. So, our first sponsorship deal with you was memorable to us. That was really kind of neat to say, "Hey, this company wants to use us, and how you support us, we can't be more grateful." For me, it's like the conventions and meeting people. To me, this whole thing is about meeting people. Where I want to be 2 years from now, you asked about the growth of this thing. Part of me is upset that I haven't grown faster, and we haven't grown faster. I want to be able to do this full time and travel the country and meet athletic trainers and interview them like you're interviewing me, and take tours of their athletic training rooms and have video. I have all these ideas of how to really promote the profession and meet these people and really show what we do, because that's probably the biggest challenge, is people still don't know what athletic trainers are. We know what we do, and the people that we are the closest with know, but I work in a orthopedic clinic and people come in and I say, "Hey, I'm an athletic trainer." They're like, "Oh, can you work me out?" And I'm like, yes, I can. Yes, one, I probably could, but two, that's not what I do. So we still have a long ways to go with the profession in terms of educating. And building relationships is going to be the best way to do that. So to answer your question, yes, I'm happy with the growth that we've had, but part of me is we've got a long way to go, and I can't wait to do that. I've got the next 2 or 3 steps planned out, and it's going to be great. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Spoken like a true entrepreneur, that's for sure. Just wanted to kind of think about that next thing. That's cool. One of the coolest things I think, and one of the most creative things that you guys do is the fat bracket. Want to tell everybody what that is?
Yeah, it's fun. It's probably what we're most well known for, I would think. So each week on our show, we have what we call a fictional athletic trainer debate. Fictional athletic trainer, we call it the fat. Every week we call it the fat fictional athletic trainer. So we'll try to take a current TV show or a current movie, or maybe a retro or a throwback, or sometimes it's a weird like one of our earlier ones that we were like, okay, this is something. Was when we debated whether a thick crust pizza or a thin crust pizza would make a better athletic trainer and why. And it's just weird, but to think about. But you think about the qualities of these characters or these objects, and you relate it to athletic training, and sometimes you're like, oh my god, I never thought about it that way. So what we do is, after a year of doing this, right around March and March Madness, we take whatever characters we've talked about in the last year and we put them into a bracket, like you would see for the NCAA tournament, and then we let people fill out the brackets on who they think might make the best athletic trainer from all the last characters of the last year. And it's supposed to be a chance for athletic trainers to interact with people or patients or friends or whatever and just talk about athletic training. And then what we do is we vote on each round. So in the first round, we'll go through all the matchups. Everyone will vote on it over the course of a couple days. And whoever gets more votes advances to the next round. And then we just repeat the process until there's a champion. And then a fictional athletic trainer champion is crowned.
Every year. It's so much fun. I love that you guys do that. It's so creative too. And I know, like, even some of the athletes, the patients, the athletes get involved too with their athletic trainer, and they'll help the athletic trainer come up with the ideas. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want, is the interaction between the athletic trainer and other people. Again, just another opportunity to kind of promote the profession in our own unique, bizarre, candid way. I mean, it's not in your face. It's just a different way of doing it that makes it fun, we think.
Yeah, it is fun. If you haven't checked it out, do so, please. Chad, tell everybody how they can kind of check you guys out and get to the podcast.
Yeah, so we've got a website. You can just go to candidathletictraining.com. Our YouTube channel is Candid Athletic Training. Again, if you want to jump on the live stream, that's Wednesday night at 8:30 Central Time. It's usually an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, somewhere around there. You can just jump on randomly. If you want to listen to us on any of your favorite podcast platforms, you can. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. You can find our episodes right on our website if you want. And then our social media, all of our social medias right now, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook are Candid_ATC.
Nice.
And if you want to email us suggestions on something you want to talk about, you can do that at candidathletictraining@gmail.com.
So many opportunities to get in touch with these guys, get involved. Trust me, it's worth it. You're going to love it. You'll be hooked on the first episode that you listen to. I promise you that. Chad, tell Kevin we said hello, and best of luck to him, and to you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Having fun. Keep making athletic trainers happy. You're doing an amazing job.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Dan. We appreciate everything you guys have done for us. It's been a great relationship.
Sure has.